Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another video on the foundations of health. This week we're talking about movement, and as a naturopathic doctor, I really specialize and focus on women's health. I love working with prenatal, postnatal, pregnancy, all that with mamas, and so I really wanted to focus a little bit of our movement exercise topic on that time, on pregnancy, on postpartum. And so, of course, the first person that popped into my mind was the lovely Leslie Rodriguez. Leslie is the owner of Empowered Fit and Wellness. She's a mama of one and a pre-postnatal certified personal trainer here in Denver, Colorado. So she helps moms stay active during pregnancy and postpartum through her individual and group fitness classes. I've gotten the pleasure of working with her, and I'm so glad that she's with us today to talk. Thanks, Leslie, for being here.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We both escaped our children to be here tonight, so
Yes.
we're excited. So what I want to do is I want to kind of just get your very educated knowledge about what fitness, what exercise, what movement, all these words we use should look like during pregnancy. Because I know for me and for a lot of women, you may have a specific routine that you're doing normally, and then you get pregnant and it's kind of almost like, oh, what should I be doing now? Is this safe? Is this not safe? What should I be exercising more, less? Like, I think that women have a lot of questions. So I just wanted you to get your opinion and what you see helping moms the most.
Yeah, so it definitely, I feel like it's a scary time when I found myself like in a sticky situation. I was like, can I do this? Can I do that? I wasn't sure. And there's not a whole lot of guidance from, at least personally, from my medical, team
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago when I was pregnant. So there are some limitations as far as like what you should be doing, but you definitely want to change your mindset as far as like what your goals are during pregnancy. It's definitely shifts during pregnancy. It's no longer, weight loss. It's kind of maintaining a routine, maintaining an activity level that maybe you were doing before, maybe decreasing that a little bit, but also being aware that there's a lot of changes going on in your body. So specifically hormonal changes. So you have progesterone, you have relaxin, your joints start to relax a little bit more to make room for your baby. So that's going to impact exercises like high intensity, very high impact exercises. So as far as like you asking like what you can and can't do, it really depends on where you're at as far as like your level of fitness is starting, and then also what your goal is and where you are in that pregnancy. Are you in the first trimester or third trimester? It does make a difference as far as that goes.
Okay. Yeah. Because whenever I was told, it was basically you don't really have to change anything. If you're, running 7 miles a day, you can still be running for a certain amount of time. I guess, is there any like hard, research behind, like, is there a specific time when women should shift, or is it kind of like you said, a bit depending on the person and their fitness
It is.
level?
It's a little bit of both because, let's say you are running 7 miles a day. Once you're pregnant, whether you like it or not, things are changing internally. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're still running 7 miles a day at the same intensity you were before, it's probably not the best thing for your pelvic floor. A lot of the times that you're pregnant, people will just say like, oh, it's just a part of pregnancy if you're leaking. It's just a part of pregnancy that your back hurts. And it's like, yes and no, because there are
Mm-hmm.
so many things that you can change in your routine and that you should, to limit those things. So, for example, running is a high impact exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not about like completely avoid it. If you're running and that's what
Yeah.
keeps you sane and that's like your mental escape, it's like, what can we do to continue having you do that? Something that you really enjoy, but in a safer way, which is let's shut get those strides to be a little bit closer together, maybe really helping you connect to your pelvic floor. teaching you how to connect to your core so that you are not, injuring yourself during pregnancy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's like, there are some hard like no's in some ways, but in other ways it's like, okay, if this is really good for you mentally, if this is what you need for yourself, let's figure out a way to get you to continue to do that, but in a way that it's safer for you.
I love that. That's so important, that individualized attention and care, because yeah, we're all not just like a giant massive people who, the guidelines sometimes they don't apply to us. And I think what you mentioned about your mental health, and really some people are really attached to their certain exercises. It gets like that is their stress relief. So I love that you do that with people. And that's probably a huge benefit too of getting the one-on-one class or something with you, because you can do those tweaks with each person.
Right. And it's hard also to say, even like on what I share, it's like safe pregnancy exercises, but it's like, it's hard, at least for me as a trainer, to just like list like hard nose here,
Right.
because it is so individualized. But I also see how that can be confusing for moms, because if you say this, you can do it, but and it's like you almost need that individualized attention so
Hmm.
that they learn how to do it correctly
Hmm.
and they can continue to do a certain move.
Makes
So
sense.
it's kind of like, you know, I can totally see how some moms get lost in the whole pregnancy,
Yeah.
exercise during pregnancy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. So what would you say, like if we just like took a step back, what would you say just like an average um exercise routine should look like for a pregnant mom? Like I know when you're not pregnant, there's those kind of guidelines, 150 minutes a week of cardio and, resistance training and things. Those are kind of the things I've been talking about earlier this week. For pregnancy and postpartum, is it much different?
So the aerobic guidelines, it's the same for the general population as it is during pregnancy. So it is recommended that it is 150 minutes, so like 2.5 hours. And I
Mhm.
actually posted about this, I think last week. But yeah, that's the recommended amount to not be considered sedentary, which is the same for the general population. But honestly, I just tell moms like start moving. Like keep it simple. If you're brand new to exercise, like don't put that pressure on yourself that you have to go and do all this crazy, pregnancy workouts. It's like just start with walking. Start with walking, start with your breathing, start doing some diaphragmatic breathing, kind of doing a little bit of even research on like how to breathe during pregnancy, and start with 10 minutes every day. And then just up it every, the next week, add another 5 minutes, and just baby steps. It's
Mhm.
not every little bit during pregnancy is going to make a big difference. So even if you weren't exercising at all before pregnancy, it's not too late to start.
Perfect. That's really good. Maybe that's the motivation, to start
Yeah,
moving a little more. Because
right.
I know it absolutely helps with all of those. Sorry, my cat is like,
It's all good.
um, all of those aches and pains that can start to set in second trimester, third trimester. I found that if I just kept active, didn't even, those would go away dramatically. So it is
Yeah,
very, very, very important.
yeah, for sure. And it's also good to point out that if in that first trimester, it's really when your body is just like catching up to the fact that you're pregnant. I feel like it's like everything is just, you may have morning sickness and everything just feels kind of like a mess.
Yeah.
So don't be so hard on yourself. If you're not going on walks that first trimester, if you're like, all you're doing is like in the toilet, like puking
Curled
your
up on the
guts
couch.
out and just, yeah, on the couch, like that's okay. But just know that during that second trimester, typically most pregnant people will get their energy back. And that's when you can start, going on walks and starting to do a little bit more just
Right.
to really support your body, because your body's going to change whether, you like it or not. So it's like, let's do something to help your body out so that you feel supported, so you're not feeling, like you said, all those aches and pains, and
Mhm.
you're sleeping better, and everything goes a little bit smoother. And
Yeah, there are so many benefits. I was
especially
trying to.
emotionally, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me, at least.
Yep. So if you're someone who more tends towards anxiety or depression, know that the exercise and this movement during pregnancy is going to be huge for you. And it's like you want to get that set in place.
Right.
And then postpartum even, I mean, I think the same thing, like you're saying during the first trimester, don't, be easy on yourself, and especially postpartum, don't jump back into it. What are your kind of thoughts and guidelines on that?
Yeah, I even did this myself, and I think about it now and I'm like, why was I doing that? But I was so itching to get back to like feeling like myself.
Mm.
Because I do exercise regularly, and that's kind of part of my mental routine that keeps
Sure.
me, going. So that was hard for me, just not feeling like myself, and I wanted to just like, oh, I just want to work out, but really take the time to slow down, to rest. I mean, I remember feeling completely sore the day after giving birth, and like my whole body was, I've never experienced anything like that. So I say, even, I know people say like 6 weeks and then you can return, but that doesn't mean you can return back to what you were doing. It means
Mhm.
like you can start doing a little more gentle movement, increasing maybe a little bit more walking, doing more recovery like exercises to connect to your core, to connect to your pelvic floor, to just reconnect to all of those parts of your body that completely changed during pregnancy, are just trying to find their way back to,
Mhm.
where they should be. So just give yourself time to um, do that, and not because you're 6 weeks or because your doctor says like, yes, you're clear to exercise.
Mhm.
I would never recommend anybody be like, yes, just go back to your kickboxing class at 6 weeks
Right.
postpartum.
Yeah.
So really just, and I know for myself, like it can be boring too. If
Yeah.
you are doing very gentle things, and if you're used to just like go, 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 it's hard to stay at that low level of intensity. But just know that the longer you stay in that lower kind of recovery, like kind of rehabbing type of exercises, you're gonna be better off,
Sure.
down
Yeah.
the road.
And I think with postpartum, like setting up just those, I think it's just such a good idea at least once to have some sort of individualized like care, whether it's with a postpartum PT or with a fitness instructor like yourself, just to kind of teach you how to move postpartum, so you're not, putting too much strain on your pelvic floor, or twisting or doing something. And same with pregnancy, like doing certain twists and stuff. I think there's just so much benefit to that. So awesome. Is there, I want to kind of talk about then now some resources that maybe women can use. And then I want to hear about what it looks like to work with you, because I see you working with your classes, and it looks like so much fun too. And it's really fascinating. I've heard you talk a lot about connecting to your core and connecting to your pelvic floor. So kind of what does it look like to work with you? And then what are some resources that women can use?
Yeah, so I offer individual one-on-one sessions and during pregnancy and postpartum. So during pregnancy, it's really about, like you said, I teach you about what's going on with your core, what makes up your core. Some people, we don't even know what's our core or
Mhm.
what it makes up our core and why it helps. And we start with breathing. I start helping you how to connect to that, how to exercise. We focus on labor training, which is a combination of meditation and movement. So we're
Oh,
doing
cool.
intervals almost to mimic labor contractions, so that you can, so I'll read a guided meditation for 3 minutes, and then you do an exercise for 45 seconds. And then as labor progresses, the rest gets shorter, the contractions get longer. So we mimic that with meditation and movement.
That's
And
so cool.
yeah, so
I
it
didn't
just,
know that was a thing.
yeah, so we do that. And I feel like that's one of the favorite things that um, the mamas that I train, like that's their favorite part of the training, I feel like,
Hmm.
because it really helps them relax. And I remember going into labor and having contractions, and it was my first child, and I had no idea it was gonna be like intervals. You know, it was like on and then
This is familiar.
it is, right? It is like intervals. And I'm like, I wish I would have known that. I would have maybe done something. But that's kind of what we try to do during the pregnancy style training. And then postpartum, it's really about rehabbing. And if you're experiencing diastasis recti or pelvic floor issues, we work with that on how to get you to build a strong foundation so that you can, go back to the
Yes.
exercises that you did before and all of that. But yeah, and there's really good resources out there. I'm certified through Fit for Birth, so they offer a lot of really good information and exercise guidelines and things like that you can follow them. And then also Girls Gone Strong has a ton of resources if you want to get back into running postpartum. They just have a lot of really good information too.
And then you are doing some awesome, I've been watching you doing some live online classes, and you're about to offer now some like on-demand classes.
Right, yes. So I am offering some live classes online through Zoom every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30. And it is a combination of pregnancy and postpartum. So, there's moms in there working out at home with their kiddos, and, very minimal equipment needed. And then I'm going to be starting in about a week, releasing some on-demand classes that you will have unlimited access to, and you can just do from the comfort of your own home whenever.
I love that. That's like so needed
Videos.
right now because yeah, I think we're all starting to feel the quarantine lull.
I
Like
know.
so it's really nice you offer that, and the consistency is nice too. So
Yeah.
great. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No,
Okay, I know there's so much more you can talk
we
about with
can always, yes, we
pregnancy
can always
and
hop on again for any other questions that people may have. I'd be happy to answer.
okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll put all your information and those resources above or below or wherever it's going to be, wherever this video is going. But thank you so much for being with us. Again, this is Leslie Rodriguez with Empowered Fit and Wellness, and we'll
Thank
chat
you.
again soon.
Thank
All right,
you.
bye.